The medical ship Gentle Current moved slowly through the broken pieces of metal and glass that floated in space. Once, these pieces were a human cargo ship. Now, they were just garbage drifting in the darkness between stars. Chief Medical Officer stood at her station and watched the rescue team search through the wreckage. She was a species known across the galaxy for their skill in medicine. Her skin was soft blue and gave off a gentle light. She had 4 arms, which made surgery much easier than it was for species with only 2. Her large, dark eyes never blinked as she studied the scanner readings. "Any survivors?" asked Captain from behind her. He was a reptile-like species with thick copper-colored scales and a deep voice that rumbled like distant thunder. His job was security, but on a medical ship, there was not much security work to do, so he often came to watch the rescues. "The ship broke apart 3 hours ago," said. Her voice was calm and professional. "The chances of finding anyone alive are very small. Humans need air to breathe. They cannot survive in space without protection." "Then why do we search?" "Because there is always hope, and because it is our duty." They waited in silence. Minutes passed. Then the communication system crackled to life. "Medical Bay, this is Rescue Team 4. We found something. One life sign, human male. He is alive, but barely. We are bringing him in now." 4 hands immediately began preparing the medical platform. She checked the machines, cleaned the tools, and made sure everything was ready. Captain stepped back to give her space but stayed to watch. The rescue pod arrived within minutes. 2 medics carried in a human male on a stretcher. He was covered in blood and dust. His clothes were torn. His face was pale, almost gray, but his chest moved up and down slowly. He was breathing. "Put him here," ordered. They placed him on the medical platform, and she activated the full-body scanner. The machine hummed as it examined every part of the human's body, watched the results appear on her screen. At first, she thought the machine was broken. She tapped the screen and ran the scan again. The results were the same. "This is impossible," she whispered. Captain moved closer. "What do you see?" 17 bone fractures. His voice shook slightly. 3 of his ribs are cracked. His left collarbone is broken in 2 places. His right thigh bone has a long fracture running through it. His left shin bone is broken. 4 small bones in his right hand are shattered. 2 bones in his spine have cracks. His right forearm is fractured. His left forearm is fractured. Both of his ankles are damaged. She paused to take a breath. There is also bruising across 40% of his body. One of his lungs has a hole in it. He has lost enough blood to kill any twice over. Captain stared at the human on the table, and he is alive. He should not be. By every medical rule we know, by every standard in our database, this human should have died within minutes of receiving these injuries. Maybe seconds. Shook her head slowly. But his heart beats. His brain functions, he breathes, he lives. Humans are strange creatures. I have treated humans before. I have read their medical files, but this could not find the words. This goes beyond anything I have ever seen. As if he heard them talking about him, the human's eyes suddenly opened. They were dark brown, like wet earth after rain. He looked around the medical bay, seeing the strange alien equipment, the blue-skinned doctors, the copper-scaled captain. He blinked twice, trying to understand where he was. Then he tried to sit up. "No, no, no," pushed him back down with 2 of her hands. Her touch was gentle but firm. "You cannot move. You have 17 broken bones. Your body is badly damaged. You must stay still." The human looked down at himself. He seemed to think about her words for a moment. Then he looked back at her with a confused expression on his face. "Oh, that," he said. His voice was rough and dry, but there was something strange in it. Something that sounded almost casual. "Yeah, the reactor housing fell on me during the explosion. Hurts a bit." Felt her mind go blank. "A bit. I mean, it is not comfortable." The human tried to shrug, then stopped when pain flashed across his face. But I have had worse. One time I fell off a building on Mars and broke my leg in 3 places. That was pretty bad. Captain stepped forward. His translator device struggled to match his shocked tone. You have 17 fractures. Your lung has a hole in it. You have lost massive amounts of blood. And you say you have had worse. Well, not worse exactly. Different worse. The human coughed and saw blood on his lips, but he did not seem worried about it. Is there any water? I am really thirsty. Quickly got him water. She helped him drink it slowly, supporting his head with one hand while holding the cup with another. The human drank deeply, then sighed with relief. Thank you, he said. My name is Park. I was an engineer on the cargo ship. His eyes became sad for a moment. I guess the ship did not make it. You are the only survivor, told him gently. Closed his eyes. A single tear ran down his cheek, but when he opened his eyes again, they were clear and focused. Then I need to get better fast, he said. Someone has to tell their families what happened. Someone has to remember them. Did not know what to say. This human had 17 broken bones, a punctured lung, and had lost half his blood. And his first thought was about honoring his dead friends. She began to understand that humans were very different from any species she had ever known. 3 days passed on the medical ship Gentle Current. For a patient with 17 broken bones, 3 days would mean lying perfectly still in bed, attached to machines, receiving constant medication. A patient would need at least 6 months to recover from such injuries, maybe more. Park was walking. Not well, not smoothly. He limped badly and had to stop every few steps to catch his breath. But he was walking. He had made himself a cane from metal pipes he found in the maintenance bay. He had gone to that bay on the 2nd day, ignoring all the doctors who told him to stay in bed. Had given up trying to keep him still. Now she simply followed him wherever he went, carrying a small scanner to check his condition. She had started writing research notes about him. She called her notes the anomaly because she could not explain what she was seeing with normal science. On this day, had decided to help fix a broken sensor system in the engineering section. He sat on a small stool, his broken body bent over the machine, his damaged hands working carefully with tools. Your species confuses me, said, watching him work. How can you function with this much pain? The scanner shows that your nerve signals are extremely active. You should be screaming. You should be unable to think clearly. Tightened a small bolt before answering. You just kind of ignore it. Ignore pain. Mind over matter, that is what we call it. He moved to the next bolt. You tell yourself the pain is not important. You focus on something else. Eventually, your brain learns to push the pain to the background. His blue skin flickered with confusion. But pain exists for a reason. It tells your body that something is wrong. It stops you from causing more damage to yourself. Ignoring it goes against basic biology. Laughed. It was a short laugh because laughing hurt his broken ribs. Yeah, well, humans are stubborn. My grandmother used to say that pain is just weakness leaving the body. That makes no medical sense at all. It is not supposed to be medical. It is a saying, a way of thinking. Put down his tool and looked at her. It means we do not let pain control us. We cannot afford to. Do you know about Earth, about where humans come from? I have read some basic information. Earth was not a kind planet. Our ancestors did not have claws like we did not have 4 arms like your people. We were soft and slow and weak compared to the animals around us. But we survived anyway. We chased animals for days until they fell down from exhaustion. We fought creatures 10 times our size with sharp sticks. We survived ice ages that lasted thousands of years. We survived famines and plagues and wars. He picked up his tool again and went back to work. Pain was always there. It never went away. So we learned to live with it. We adapted. The door to the engineering section opened, and a young female walked in. Her name was, and she was the ship's. Her job was to study alien life forms, and right now, she was very interested in studying. "I have been reviewing your medical scans," said. She was barely 100 years old, which made her very young for her. Her voice was full of excitement and curiosity. "Your healing rate is impossible. Even if we accept that humans can ignore pain, you are healing 3 times faster than any human medical record shows. Your bones are already starting to join back together. The hole in your lung has almost closed. This should take months, not days." Shrugged carefully, having learned not to move too fast. "I am motivated." Motivated. "My sister is getting married in 6 weeks. I promised her I would be there. I promised I would dance at her wedding." He smiled, though it looked painful. "I do not break my promises." Looked at. Neither of them could understand what they were hearing. "You are telling me," said slowly, "that you are making your body heal faster through willpower, through wanting something badly enough." "Humans do it all the time. There is a lot of research about it. Patients who want to live for something, who have a goal, they recover faster than patients who have nothing to live for." Finished his repair work and tested the sensor. It hummed to life perfectly. "The body follows where the mind leads." "This is not possible," said, but her scanner showed that his bones were healing. His blood levels were improving. His lung was repairing itself at an amazing speed. "Maybe not for you," said. He stood up slowly, leaning on his cane. "But for humans, the impossible is just something we have not done yet." He limped toward the door, then stopped and looked back at the 2 alien women. "Thank you for taking care of me. I know I am a difficult patient, but I promise when I am better, I will find a way to repay you. Humans never forget kindness." He left the room and stood in silence for a long moment. "I need to write a report about this," finally said. "I need to write many reports," agreed, "but I do not think anyone will believe them." "No, they will have to see it for themselves." Was right. Within days, word of the impossible human had spread to every ship in the fleet, and everyone wanted to see the man who refused to let 17 broken bones stop him from keeping a promise to his sister. The news about Park spread faster than light across the galaxy. Medical researchers from 12 different species sent messages asking for reports. Scientists who had never cared about humans before suddenly wanted to know everything. The Galactic Union leadership decided that a formal investigation was needed. 2 weeks after his rescue, found himself sitting in a large conference room on the Union flagship. The room was bigger than his entire apartment back on Earth. The ceiling was so high he could barely see it. Hundreds of alien officials filled the seats, all watching him with their strange eyes. He was not alone. A human woman named sat beside him. She was an ambassador, which meant her job was to help humans talk to aliens and aliens talk to humans. She had arrived on a fast ship just yesterday, sent by the human government to help with whatever was happening. "Just answer their questions honestly," had told him before the meeting. "Do not try to be funny or clever. These aliens do not always understand human humor." "I am not funny anyway," had replied. "I am just an engineer." Now he sat in front of the most powerful beings in the known galaxy, feeling very small and very ordinary. The lead researcher was a crystalline named Bright Facet. His body was made of living crystal that split light into rainbows whenever he moved. When he spoke, his voice chimed like bells. "Engineer Park," Bright Facet began, "our records show many strange cases in human medical history. People who continued to live and function with injuries that should have killed them. Is this information correct?" Thought about the question. "Yes, that is correct. Humans are hard to kill." "Can you give us examples?" "Well," scratched the back of his neck, a nervous habit. "There was a man long ago who got a metal rod shot through his brain. It went in under his cheek and came out the top of his head. He lived for 12 more years after that." The translator devices in the room all worked at once. A wave of shocked sounds came from the audience. There are also people who fell from airplanes without parachutes and survived. Continued. One woman fell from over 10,000 meters and lived. She broke many bones, but she recovered. How is this possible? Asked a researcher. Humans are flexible. Our bodies can take a lot of damage before they stop working, and sometimes we just get lucky. What about deliberate damage? Asked Bright Facet. Do humans ever hurt each other on purpose? Felt Ambassador tense beside him. This was a sensitive topic, but he had promised to be honest. Yes, we have sports where we hurt each other for entertainment. The room went very quiet. We have boxing, where two people punch each other in the face until one falls down or gives up. We have mixed martial arts, where people use punches, kicks, and holds to fight. We have rugby and American football, where large groups crash into each other at high speed. We have ice hockey, where people carry sticks and sometimes hit each other with them. You cause brain damage to each other for fun. The researcher's blue skin had turned pale gray. Sometimes, yes. Ambassador spoke up quickly. These sports have rules and safety equipment. They are not as dangerous as they sound. But people still get hurt, said. That is part of the game, getting hurt and continuing anyway, pushing through the pain to win. Bright Facet leaned forward, his crystal body chiming softly. You speak of pain as if it is a minor problem, as if it is something to be overcome, not avoided. That is exactly right. Sat up, forgetting for a moment that he was just a simple engineer. Look, humans break. We break all the time, our bones crack, our skin tears, our organs get damaged, but we are very, very good at fixing ourselves. He held up his right hand, still wrapped in bandages where 4 bones had been broken. When my bones heal, they will be stronger at the break points than they were before. This is how human bodies work. When we get sick, our immune system learns and becomes better at fighting that sickness. When we get hurt, we grow scar tissue that is tougher than normal skin. He looked around the room at all the alien faces watching him. Humans are not special because we are strong. We are special because we are hard to break forever. You can knock us down, but we get back up. You can hurt us, but we heal. You can try to kill us, but we survive. You make it sound like your entire species is designed for damage, Bright Facet observed. We are. Earth was not a gentle planet. Nothing about our evolution was gentle. Every human alive today is descended from millions of years of ancestors who refused to die. The ones who gave up, who let pain stop them, who accepted defeat, they did not survive to have children. Smiled, even though it made his healing face ache. We are the children of everyone who looked at impossible situations and said, I will survive this. That is what it means to be human. We do not know how to give up. It is not in our blood. The conference room was silent. Hundreds of aliens from dozens of species stared at the small, broken human who sat before them. He had 17 fractures, a healing lung, and more pain than any of them could imagine. And he was smiling. Ambassador looked at him with something like pride in her eyes. This was why she had taken this job. This was why she believed in humanity's future among the stars. Because humans like Park reminded the galaxy what stubborn truly meant. The attack came without warning. 3 days after the conference was back on the medical ship Gentle Current. He preferred it there. The flagship was too big, too crowded, too full of important people who wanted to study him like a strange animal. On the Gentle Current, he could just be the stubborn engineer who would not stay in bed. He was in the medical bay when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed on every wall. The ship shook hard enough to knock off his feet. His 4 arms grabbed equipment to keep it from falling. What is happening? Shouted over the noise. The ship's communication system crackled. Captain's voice came through tight with fear. All crew, this is the captain. Raiders have come out of hyperspace. They have disabled our engines. They are boarding the ship. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. blue skin went pale. No, 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 no. Who are the? Asked, pulling himself up using a medical table. Pirates, killers. They attack ships, take everything valuable and leave no survivors. Was already moving to the door, her 4 hands working the controls to lock it. We must hide. We must find somewhere they will not look. Can we fight them? Fight? Stared at him like he had gone insane. They are twice your size. They have natural armor on their skin. Their claws can cut through metal. And there are many of them. We cannot fight. We can only hide and hope. The sound of explosions came from somewhere in the ship. Screams followed. Then silence. They are coming, whispered. They are killing everyone they find. Looked around the medical bay. His cane was on the other side of the room. His body still ached from 17 fractures that had not fully healed. His lung was better but not perfect. He was in no condition to fight anyone. But hiding meant letting the kill everyone on the ship. Hiding meant letting die. Hiding meant giving up. And Park did not know how to give up. Get behind the surgical table, he told. Stay down. Do not make a sound. What are you going to do? Before he could answer, the wall exploded inward. 3 soldiers stepped through the hole, their weapons raised. They were exactly as had described. 2 meters tall, thick gray skin that looked like stone, claws on their hands and feet that gleamed like knives, eyes that were completely black without any white. The leader saw and made a horrible sound that might have been laughter. Medical officer. Good. You will tell us where the supplies are before we kill you. Moved. He did not think about his broken bones. He did not think about the pain that exploded through his body with every step. He did not think about how stupid this was, how impossible, how suicidal. He grabbed a metal tray from the nearest table and threw it at the leader's face. The tray hit with a satisfying crack. The stumbled backward, more surprised than hurt, was already moving, his damaged leg screaming at him, his cracked ribs grinding together. He grabbed a surgical tool, something sharp, and drove it into the second's arm. The alien screamed and swung at him. The blow caught in the chest and threw him across the room. He felt something break. Another rib, maybe 2. He coughed and tasted blood. But he got back up. They stared at him. This tiny, broken human who should have been dead on the floor. This creature who was bleeding and gasping for air but still standing, still fighting. What are you? The leader growled. I am having a bad day, said, and you just made it worse. He charged again. The fight was brutal and ugly. Had no skill, no training, no weapons except whatever he could grab. They were stronger, faster, and armored. They hit him again and again. One of them slashed his back open with its claws. Another shot him in the shoulder with some kind of energy weapon. But every time he fell, he got back up. Every time they hurt him, he hurt them back. He fought with fists and teeth and surgical tools. He fought with a metal chair leg he ripped from the floor. He fought with pure, stubborn, human refusal to die. They could not understand it. Their species believed in strength and power. When something weaker attacked something stronger, the weaker thing died. That was the natural order. That was how the universe worked. But this human did not follow the rules. When the security team finally arrived, they found Park standing over 3 unconscious soldiers. His body was covered in blood, both his and theirs. New wounds layered over old wounds. He swayed on his feet like a tree in a storm. Oh good, he said when he saw them. I could use a hand. Then his eyes rolled back, and he collapsed to the floor. Ran to him, her 4 hands already checking his wounds. He is alive, barely, but alive. Captain looked at the fallen, then at the small human who had defeated them. He had seen many battles in his long life. He had never seen anything like this. Get him to surgery, ordered. Whatever it takes, keep him alive. He should not be alive at all, whispered, already preparing to move him. By every rule of medicine and science, he should be dead many times over. Then maybe your rules need to change, said quietly. Because humans clearly have different rules. The word spread fast. A single human, broken and half-dead, had defeated 3 elite warriors with nothing but rage and determination. It seemed impossible. It seemed like a story, a legend. But it was true. And the galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. Woke up slowly, like climbing out of a deep, dark hole. Everything hurt. His entire body felt like one giant bruise. When he opened his eyes, the light was too bright, and he had to close them again. "He is waking up," said a familiar voice. Tried to speak, but his throat was too dry. Someone pressed a cup of water to his lips, and he drank gratefully. When he opened his eyes again, the light was softer. He was in the medical bay, surrounded by machines that beeped and hummed. Captain sat in a chair beside his bed. The big looked tired, but his copper scales seemed to shine with something like admiration. "How long?" managed to ask. "2 days since the fight. You have been sleeping. Your body needed the rest." The ship, the crew. "Safe because of you," leaned forward. "The raiders have surrendered, not just the ones on this ship, their entire fleet. They gave up and asked for mercy." Blinked, confused. Why would they surrender? We did not beat their whole fleet. "No, but word spread about what you did. A single human, already broken, already injured, defeating 3 of their elite soldiers." Shook his head slowly. The respect strength above all things. They could not understand how someone so damaged could fight so hard. It frightened them. "I was not trying to frighten anyone. I was just trying to survive." That is what frightened them most. Appeared beside the bed, her scanner in one of her hands. "I need to check your injuries. Hold still." Laughed weakly. "Holding still is all I can do right now." The scanner hummed as it examined him. His face grew more and more confused as she read the results. 17 fractures before the attack," she said. 23 now. 2 punctured lungs instead of 1. A cut on your back that nearly reached your spine. A burn on your shoulder that goes down to the muscle. Blood loss that should have killed you 3 times. And yet here I am." "Yes, here you are." Put down the scanner. "You have been awake for 5 minutes and your body is already healing faster than it was yesterday. Your heart rate is strong. Your brain activity is normal. By tomorrow, you will probably try to get out of bed again." "I promise I will stay in bed for at least 1 more day." Stood up from his chair. He looked at for a long moment, then did something did not expect. The big placed his right fist over his left chest and bowed his head. It was a gesture of deep respect, something warriors only gave to those they considered true fighters. "The Galactic Union has made a formal request to the human government," said. "They want humans to join our defensive forces. They saw what one broken human could do. They want to see what whole humans can do." "We are never really whole," said quietly. "Every human carries scars, inside and outside. We are all broken in some way. We just learn to keep going anyway. That is what makes you dangerous. That is what makes you valuable." Straightened up. "When you are recovered, there will be medals and ceremonies. Important people will want to shake your hand and take pictures with you. You will become famous across the galaxy." "I do not want to be famous. I just want to keep my promise." "What promise?" Smiled. "My sister's wedding. 6 weeks from when I was rescued. I promised I would dance at her wedding." Looked at the calendar on her. Then she looked back at with an expression of complete disbelief. "The wedding is in 12 days. Then I better heal fast." 12 days later, a ship carried Park back to Earth. He walked off the ship on his own 2 feet, using a cane but refusing a wheelchair. His body was wrapped in bandages under his formal clothes. Every step hurt. Every breath ached. But he was there. His sister cried when she saw him. She had heard the stories, seen the news reports. The whole galaxy knew about her brother now. But to her, he was just her annoying older brother who had promised to dance at her wedding. "You came," she whispered, hugging him carefully because she knew how hurt he was. I promised. The wedding was beautiful. Married a kind man named who looked at her like she was the most precious thing in the universe. Their families gathered around them, celebrating love and life and new beginnings. When the music started for the first dance, stood up. "What are you doing?" asked. She had come to Earth with him, officially to monitor his health, unofficially because she could not look away from this impossible human. I promised I would dance. You have 23 fractures, 2 healing lungs, internal damage throughout your body. I know, smiled and walked onto the dance floor, but I promised. He danced. He danced badly. He could not move his left leg properly. He had to keep one hand on his ribs. Every turn made him dizzy, and every step sent pain shooting through his body. But he danced. His family watched. His new alien friends watched. Across the galaxy, species who had never thought twice about humans watched recordings of this moment. They watched a man who should have been dead many times over. A man with 23 broken bones dancing at his sister's wedding. A man who refused to let the universe tell him what he could not do. That night became a legend. In the years that followed, humans spread across the galaxy, working alongside alien species, exploring new worlds, facing new dangers. And whenever someone said that something was impossible, whenever someone suggested giving up, the response was always the same. Remember Park. Remember the man who danced on broken bones. Because that was the lesson the galaxy learned from one stubborn engineer. Never tell a human what they cannot survive. Never tell a human what they cannot do. Because humans will simply prove you wrong. They found 17 fractures in the human. He called it a bit of pain. And then he got up and danced anyway. That is what humans do. That is what humans will always do. Forever.